Hello and welcome to Glasgow Rangers Nation with me, your host, Owen James, channel that brings you all your latest Rangers news. Well, there is finally a little bit of transfer news swilling and swirling around the club after what's been a quiet few days, hasn't it? Rather worryingly quiet few days on the old transfer front. But this time it's a departure rather than an arrival. Perhaps it's going to be another saga. Now, I don't know what's going on over in Turkey, but there seems to be a bit of a fascination with Rangers players and ex-Rangers players over in Turkey. And Trabzonspor certainly seem to be a club that have become a little obsessed with becoming perhaps the Eastern version of Glasgow Rangers, becoming Trabzon Rangers or something like that. Now, we know that John Lundstrom and Borna Barisic have signed for the club. We know also that there was an alleged bid by Trabzon that was a million euros short for James Tavernier. Now, the latest talks, rumours and reports that are emerging from across in Turkey, from the Turkish media and from a number of other sources in England as well, is that Trabzonspor are interested in securing the services of Rangers attacking midfielder Todd Cantwell. Now, Todd Cantwell obviously has submitted a transfer request. He's stated that he doesn't want to play for Rangers anymore, that he wants an exit. We don't know what the factors behind that are. We can obviously make a guess at what the factors behind this desire for a move are. I think personally, if you push me on it and ask me to kind of put my money where my mouth is on this one, I'd say that it's to do with the relationship between him and the manager. I know the manager says that him and Todd have an excellent relationship. I very much doubt that. You can kind of tell from the body language, for some of the things that have gone on, the hook against Limassol, the drag away from the ref in the cup final, and some of the other things, that have gone on over this time. And also, I think, the whole Todd Cantwell social media fiasco that kind of surrounds him as well as kind of, I think, maybe sickened Philippe Clement just a tiny little bit. Now, in terms of Todd, when he first arrived at Rangers, he was fantastic. He was brilliant, and he was certainly held up as being probably the best player in Scotland from January till the end of the season. And I think, there's a lot of us as Rangers fans were very, very optimistic about what Todd Cantwell could bring to the team, and even talk at the end of that season of build a team around Todd, Let's go and win it with Todd leading the way. Now, in his time with Rangers, Todd has made 64 appearances, scoring 14 goals and 12 assists. That's 26 goal contributions in 64. I think the issue we've had with Todd, and there has been a number of injuries. Some of those obviously not of his own volition, very much of the fact that he does get kicked, and it has had very little protection from referees in Scotland. But I think, in terms of the position he plays, that attacking midfielder role, that 10 role, you'd like to see a greater goals output. You'd like to see a greater assist output. Certainly, a greater overall goal contribution from someone playing in that 10 role, especially the way that Todd plays it, where he pretty much roams where he wants on the field. At times, he has been excellent. I mean, the semi-final against Hearts last season, he was brilliant. Ran at players, went past them, looked absolute quality. At other times, he's kind of looked very average. I think a lot of people have sort of cited his failure to turn up in firm games and some of the ways he's played as well in other games where he hasn't played up to the standards that we know he's capable of. But I suppose one thing we've got to kind of balance out with this one is the whole situation around the fact that if he was consistently producing, 38 games a year, outstanding form like we've seen in some of the games, then I don't think he would be with us for very long, and we'll be playing in one of the top 4 clubs in the EPL. But, look, he doesn't produce that form consistently, therefore, obviously, he's leaving. So it seems. Now, Trabzonspor apparently flew over to Glasgow on Wednesday, the 7th of August, and apparently the people from Trabzon held talks with Todd's representatives and Rangers as regards a move for him. Now, I know a lot of this is just supposition, is report, is rumour, is counter-rumour, but it does seem strange, doesn't it, that it's Trabzonspor. So, part of me kind of thinks that this is the media being lazy and just generating stories out of nothing. Todd wants to leave. Trabzon, like Rangers players, they tried to get Tav, didn't get him, so let's get them coming back for. There's a bit of that, I think, but if there's any truth in the rumours, obviously, getting a decent bid out of Trabzon and getting the money for Todd Cantwell, I think would be extremely good business for Rangers. It's clear that, like I said, even with the manager holding an olive branch and a door open for him to return, I don't think Todd wants to now. And I think there's a lot of supporters that have completely turned against Todd Cantwell. I mean, I think some of the insults that he gets are way out of line, in terms of calling him Barbie and other things like that. I think Todd Cantwell is always someone who's cared about the club. Has always put his heart on the sleeve when it comes to actually playing for the club. I mean, look, I'm an unashamed, fully paid up member of the Todd Cantwell fan club. God, you got to be careful how you say that name. But at times he's been outstanding, at times he's been average, at times he's been awful. But you kind of feel that where we're at the moment, that's the kind of player we're going to get, because we can't afford big bucks, we can't afford massive transfer fees, we can't afford top wages. So for me, maybe that's where we're at this moment in time. That a Cantwell style player who is gloriously consistently inconsistent is what we can kind of expect. But it certainly is interesting news nonetheless that according to the reports that Trabzon are interested in purchasing Todd Cantwell. I mean, it's certainly one to watch, and I hope obviously it does come off. If Todd truly wants to leave, we do need the money, we do need the income, so we can go and secure further players to develop this squad, because hell, this squad still needs a lot of work. Guys, let me know what you think of this story. Thank you again for watching Glasgow Rangers Nation. Please obviously smash the sub, help us to keep on growing. And on the way out, 2 things I always ask of you. Number 1, please smash that like. And number 2, remember always, we are the people.